It's a long weekend, man. There's a lot going on in everybody's life, man. And look at it, 48 hours later, 72 hours later, we're completely off of Will and Jada Gate and Red Table Talk fiasco and all the entanglement drama. We have moved on, most of us, because you only get 2 days for the big stories. And this Monday morning, I woke up and completely blown away by the news that came out of the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. If you have been sleeping under a rock, it was made public today by the Washington football team organization, courtesy of Dan Snyder, that the name Washington Redskins no longer exists. They have removed the name, imagery, and logo from the organization and put on pause. Well, I wouldn't say put on pause. They have not decided where they're going to land next because there are some trademark issues, and we'll discuss that in a little bit. But I wanted to really get your thoughts because I have so many opinions on it, and I'm kind of split on the fence one way or the other. I got to be honest. I'm not a fan of the organization, so my opinions may not matter to many of you. I stopped liking them in 92. I'll explain that when I bring my first guest on, so we can break it down. And if at any time we're gonna open up the Skype for the phone line, bring you in. If you got an opinion, you want to jump in, it is all gravy right here on Let's Go Live. So right now, I want to bring in. I put a call out earlier. I wanted to get some diehard Redskins fans on either side of the issue. So I put a call out and said, let me get somebody who's a diehard Redskins fan who is against the name change, and then let me get somebody who's for the name change. And I was going to have them debate and really kind of flush out some of the finer points. So right now I got somebody, I was able to secure somebody that's for it, a very vocal proponent of the name change, also a very activist in his community. Please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the program, my man, Mr. Billy Boots. And my whole thing was, if they were a winning franchise, this would not have happened today. And everybody jumped on me and was, no, it's because of the climate, and they've been trying to change. And I'm like, oh, that's well and good. Nike pulling their money, FedEx pulling their money, that's all fine. But if they were a winning franchise, this would not have happened today.
I completely agree.
Why what makes you agree with that?
Because over winning overshadows everything, dog.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just does. Because winning brings in money, revenue. It brings in top-notch players. Your organization is all of a sudden looked at as a staple of the NFL. And in fact, if the Redskins had the pedigree of somebody like the Ravens, the Ravens been pretty much a Super Bowl contender since the moment they got into the league, right? In 1996. So if the Redskins had been like them all these years, I think the NFL would be fighting against trying to change this name.
Ooh.
How dare you try to? We're a staple and all the stuff that a lot of
fans say.
I was trying to use another word, but a lot of stuff that a lot of fans are saying now, I think the NFL would be taking that type of stance if the Redskins had a winning pedigree.
Yeah.
But it's low hanging fruit.
Low hanging fruit. Yeah.
When you some trash.
It's like we can pile on and be
Absolutely.
like, yeah, y'all
Absolutely.
I can look down on you, be like, man, you better do something.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, I need your personal take. Personal take. You are a proponent of the name change. You are in favor of it. Have you always been in favor of it?
No.
What changed?
I used to really fight against it, and I used to get in arguments on Facebook all the time and I used to say some of the things that fans are saying now too. And honestly, the thing that changed in me is, how can I be out here trying to fight against discrimination and all these negative undertones in my own community and ignore those same things in the Native American community? I don't
Mm.
care how many Native Americans like it, or the fact that a Native American back in 1930 something designed the logo. The bottom line is that there is a significant sector of people in this country that view it as derogatory, that view it as a racial slur. It's literally in the American dictionary defined as a slur. So it kind of is what it is.
Mm.
So that really having to examine that and take a good look into myself, I had to say, yo, this is not right. Now, I didn't go to the extreme and say, I'm not going to be a fan of the team and all that, but, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And what it is that it's derogatory, man.
Now I remember him a few years ago, Dan Snyder trotting out, the Native Americans, first Americans, indigenous, whatever, um, on the field before a game, before at the beginning of the season, to kind of give you that visual,
Yep,
shut the hell up. Like if they fine with it, then you should be fine with it. And then we
yep,
find out later he started a foundation, like a Washington Original Americans Foundation, and which he was the sole donator of. In the first year, like 2014 or something, he gave X amount of millions of dollars. And then 2 years later, it was like half that. And then like 2018, it was zero. Right.
yep,
So I'm thinking, I'm like, oh man, they must have turned on him. But then again, I did some research and was digging today. And he was given to about 35 different organizations. After the second year, 21 of them started refusing the money.
yep,
And that's a huge statement. And
yep.
what it was sure free money, but it kind of it can be argued that it looks like you selling out. So they get millions. There was a reservation in Montana. There was a reservation in New England and somewhere else, and they were like money for schools and iPads and technology and all of that. So it was going to good use, but it was like a payoff. It was like hush money. So after the second year, one organization I believe got like 500,000, and then the next year they just refused it and was like, "Keep your money, Jack." That,
Absolutely.
but I mean that's a big deal because you can argue, well, it was being argued that they were fine with it, but it's like, nah, they're not really fine with it. It's just you was paying them, and it just always strikes me, and the explanation that you just gave makes sense because I always wondered why black folks rise so hard for I mean, none of us. Not I don't want to be insensitive, but don't none of us know no Native Americans as much flack as we catch, as much hell as we catch. But for people in DC for years and years, the organizations curse, change the name, blah 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 for like 20 years, and then for it to happen today, it's mind boggling how it went down, mind boggling. And I get it. Nike pulled out, FedEx pulled out, but you got to wonder beyond climate what took this long. You know what I mean? And then I want to get into the names because the new names and the potential names they suck to me.
Some of them do, yeah.
They suck and evidently. So I got a list of they're in court right now dealing with a squatter, a cyber
Yep,
squatter
yep.
who kind of got wind of that this was coming down the pike and went and bought the names, trademarked the names of all the potential. So they're in court fighting with him now. But I feel like the Red Hawks and Red Tail. So the Red Tails is supposed to be a shout out to the Tuskegee Airmen. But,
Yeah.
but why? What that got to do with football? Like,
But here's my thing. Well, two of the Tuskegee Airmen are born and raised in D.C. But
okay,
with
okay.
that being no, aside from that, I don't think that the name has to have a special relation to the city that you in.
I think it should.
But I say that because there's so many professional sports teams whose name don't really have nothing to do with the city it's in.
Well, a lot of them move too.
And this is somewhat of a move.
Yeah.
I think in the beginning, in the very beginning of football, professional football in this country, they were kind of doing that, making names relatable to the city or what have you. But I think now it's really all about marketing value, market value, and how can we sell merchandise and whatever, and what what sounds good when you saying it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so it don't have to be nothing that says Washington D.C. I mean, for real, the team is really a tri-state team. It's D.C.,
True.
Maryland, and Virginia. And
Right.
for real, the majority of the fans are in Virginia. To be quite honest with you,
Paying fans.
so
The paying fans.
yes, the
Yeah.
paying fans,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So you know, it don't the name don't have to have any connotation
I
to
think
this
from
area.
a spirit and pride standpoint, I think it should. I think it should have some reflection of the general area or the history associated with it to make it more of a thing that you can rally around. You know what I mean? Like this was a big indigenous area. This was a big Native American area. I mean, from Virginia all the way up to Baltimore.
Yeah,
So I think when that was created, it was kind of in the room of that. So I think the new one should have something close to. I was saying earlier how on some slick. It's probably too late for this now, but you can keep the R logo and the color scheme and the name if you just made the mascot of football, a redskin, a pigskin. Like you could have he could have done that years ago. Had the same logo, take the man out of there, put the football there, and it'd have been a cool, catchy, to the point name. I think, but we beyond that because the name and the colors are gone. Um, but there are other. I like monuments because that's what it reflects. I like warriors because it still gives you a competition type of feel.
Warriors too generic though. It's too generic. It's 100 million teams called the Warriors between professional, high school, whatever. Like
It's
that.
it's a
That's a
million
bite.
renegade. It's a
That's
million
bite.
renegade and red hawk. Red hawks is all AAU. That's all
True.
club. That's a
That's
club.
true. That's why my two front runners was
Red
my
tail.
main front runner was Red Tails. You
Mm.
know, I mean, can you imagine a professional sports team having such a meaningful name to it, especially a black, some black shit. Can I cuss? I don't
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
but
yeah, 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 yeah,
especially some black shit. Like, come
yeah.
on, yo, that, and I think it would benefit the NFL and them trying
Yeah,
to,
but
be
then
down a little bit.
yeah, but that's
To
they pandering though, and I'm not
hey,
for the pandering. I ain't
I
for
get
that
that, I
because
get that, but I would as a fan, I would
uh,
take pride in our name being the Red Tails or what have you.
but then again, it's still people. You still making your logo
But
people.
but that ain't gonna offend nobody.
It's not derogatory, but it's still people, and it's actually real people.
Now, the front runner I hear is either Warriors or Red Wolves.
Yeah, Red Wolves is straight out of a movie
I
with
like
bad
I like it though. I
with
like it.
look. It's a movie with bad football scenes,
I
like
like it.
the
I
Sharks,
like it.
the Miami Sharks in any given Sunday.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't think I think that no matter what name they choose, there's going to be a sector of people that's going to hate it.
Yeah,
There's going to be a sector of people that's not going to like it. But let's go back to our original point. Winning cures everything.
yeah,
So they could call the team the Washington A. Youngs.
yeah.
If they start winning and they start contending for Super Bowl, everybody in the country gonna be A.
Yeah,
Young,
yeah, 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 yeah.
and
That's
that's just
easy.
what it is. I
That's
mean,
easy.
look at the Wizards. We hated that name when it first
We
came out.
definitely. I still do.
We right. I don't. I still don't like
No,
that. We hated that name.
no one even knows what the mascot is.
And so now it's just it is what it is. You don't hear a lot about that now.
Yeah,
I mean, look at the Pelicans. That's still the worst name in professional sports, but people say it like it ain't nothing anymore. So in time,
yeah,
2 years from now, we won't even be talking about this.
that's true. But
So
The Pelicans logo is hard though. The one
it is.
on the
It
court,
is.
under the
It
court,
is.
that's on hard.
And whatever name the Washington team come up with, if the logo is like that,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that'll help a whole lot.
That would. I kind of I like something simple like the. I was saying this earlier on my live, like the Washingtons, right? And you got Hey man, I'm trying to tell you, you know how easy that sounds. The Washingtons,
Nah,
the Washingtons. You know what I'm saying? They'll have George Washington, the same side profile that you got on the quarter. He be on the side of the
I
helmet.
don't want George Washington on our helmets.
The Washingtons.
I don't want his ass on. You know the name that I really wanted, and I've been saying for years, the Washington Warpath. That's what I wanted. It's already in the fight song,
Oh,
all that good stuff.
oh.
But but uh, and you could still do like your little. We're saluting Native Americans or
You
whatever you
could.
want to call it.
You definitely
But
could.
that's what I
Warpath.
wanted. But that ain't in the running at all. So
Yeah, I'm surprised that it's not like that. That I feel
I've
like
been
it
trying. I've
shows.
been tweeting and everything, but it ain't
Yeah,
catch on. I guess.
man, Warpath. I could see that. You really wouldn't have to change a lot. Just take the man off. Just take the man off.
And you could use a W for the
Yeah,
on the helmet
yeah, a double
or
W.
the arrow or the arrow.
Yeah, that's true. And see, so somebody mentioned Chocolate City, and that's the other thing. DC ain't that no more.
Nope.
So you got a whole different mindset and ideology. That's a fan now. That's a paying fan, and I feel
Yeah.
like even that had a lot to do with it because, the same way we're on our way to getting statehood is because there's a new population, and that population is so vocal. Not like the previous population was not, but the new one is being listened to in a way where the previous was not.
Yeah, but the new population don't care about this.
You don't think so?
Nah.
Oh, they love social justice. They could care less about football, but they want to be on that list of people that were responsible for having the
Yeah,
name changed.
yeah, yeah.
They
You
like
got a
that
point.
credit. Yeah, they like that credit.
You got a point. You got a point there.
We did that. Now,
Yeah.
so when they change, right? So when they change the name, when they land on a new name, how do you think? Because there was one time when Redskins was #1 in the league for merchandise for many
Yep.
many years,
Yeah.
even when they was losing.
Yep.
How, how long do you think it'll take to get back up there, even if they don't win?
I think they'll probably get back up there right away because I think people will continue to buy Redskin stuff until it ain't no more because they're gonna look at it as collector's
Oh,
items
absolutely.
and memorabilia, and then people are gonna rush to the store to buy the new name stuff. I mean, I've already allotted $300-400 to buy stuff for me and my son right out the gate,
Whatever
and
it
I
is.
think whatever it is.
Wow.
So I think a lot of people are going to do that as well.
Mm.
People going to want the new hats, the new jerseys. Come on, Joe, they going them Jones going to sell,
Yeah, they are.
and so I think that probably for the first year or two, we'll be right back up there with merchandise selling, and then it'll probably come peak down. But if we start winning, we got a new coach, we got Chase Young. We got all these young guys coming in. Uh, if the team wins and is successful, this is a win-win for Daniel Snyder.
Yeah, yeah. And then he can get y'all off his back
He
because
need to sell the team.
he fought it for so many years. You think that might be the curse? He might be the curse.
He part of it.
Yeah,
He a piece of shit dude, man. He
I-
just is.
yeah. I've heard.
He just is.
Yeah.
I used to work up there. Yeah,
Oh,
he's not a well liked guy at all.
well, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah,
That's a whole nother story.
yeah,
All right. Well, yeah, man. I appreciate you coming on, man, and just sharing your perspective as an ultimate fan. And
absolutely.
it'll be interesting. How long you think they're going to take to land on a new name and start rolling it out?
Man, it could happen tomorrow. It could happen during the off season, dog.
Mm.
I would not be surprised if they went if they even have a season this year. I would not be surprised if they went into the season just saying the Washington Football Club for a while.
Listen, I said this earlier too. Listen, that will be the coldest name with a blank helmet on some
Or just the
1930s.
W, or just the
Yeah,
W,
just a
just
W,
the
an old
W.
fashioned old ass helmet, and just the Washington football, and just come
If
out
they went
thorough,
if
thorough
they
every
went
game.
with the Washington Football Club, I would not be upset about that.
I'm trying to tell you, I think that's the one right there. That's just hard. It's letting you know
That
what it is.
yeah,
Yeah, we're not
yeah.
playing no games.
That's like 1940s. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They like keep your nicknames, champ. We the you know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't
WFP.
mind that. I
Yeah,
wouldn't mind that.
I think that'd actually be hard.
I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, super simple. I mean, I like stuff like that anyway, so
Yeah, me too.
I feel like that'd be. It's kind of like imagine just the throwback looking gear, but it's not really a throwback because it never existed. But you make it look retro. I think that'd be
Yep.
cool out the gate.
And just
Cool.
imagine announcers, the Washington Football Club versus the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Like that's like, oh, what?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, Dallas. That when you say that, Dallas sounds suspect next to that. You know what I'm saying? Like they playing an official team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be cool.